Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hello everyone. My name is Abdul Karim Alias from the University of Science Malaysia. Welcome to this online module, Engaging Learners in Online Session. This is part 5 of the video series on this course, Engaging Learners for an Effective Online Session. In the previous video, in part 4, I talk about a framework or model for online course design, and there are several research-based model that we can use, which is community of inquiry, Gilly Salmon's 5-stage model, R2D2 model, take variety and absorb, do, connect. So please watch part 4 of this video series to learn more about framework or model for online course design. In this part 5 of the series, I want to zoom in and dive into one of the popular framework or models to help you to design your online course, and this is called community of inquiry, or COI. So among the long-time online educators, especially those who are teaching in the Open Distance Learning Program, ODL, this model should be very well known to them. So basically, how do we define community of inquiry? An online community of inquiry is a group of individuals who collaboratively engage in purposeful critical discourse and reflection to construct personal meaning and confirm mutual understanding. So that's basically a definition of what is community of inquiry. So basically, let's look at the diagram here. This is actually an interactive diagram, which I use an application which is called Genially. There's a free version of this that you can use to create this type of interactive diagram here. So as you can see here, each of these element is an interactive element. There's a lot of information in this diagram. So this is one thing that one of the tips when you develop online content, try to develop this type of interactive content, which you can actually include a lot of information here, but the information is not seen, unless if you click or if you hover the cursor on the element here. Okay, so let me just expand this diagram here. Let's learn more about community of inquiry model, the community of inquiry or theoretical framework for engaging online learners. Basically, there are 3 components. So in order to design good online course, so you need to have these 3 elements here: social presence, cognitive presence, and teaching presence. If we can integrate these 3 elements in our course design, then most likely there's a high, great chances that this online course will be of high quality and it would provide the best educational experience. So let's look at what is the meaning of each one of these components. Social presence, this is a short description about social presence. Social presence is the ability of participants, in this case the students, to identify with the community in the program, in the course, communicate purposefully in a trusting environment, and develop interpersonal relationships by way of projecting their individual personalities. Learners want to get to know their instructors as people, in addition to their roles as mentors and content experts. Online students require the social presence of the instructor and other students to feel part of the online learning community, reduce feeling isolated, and build trust and community. That's the essence of what social presence is about. The first one of the three components in community of inquiry. So basically, when we talk about social presence, learning by its nature is social. People need other people, people need to have a sense of community, a sense of belonging, the sense of, the spirit of camaraderie. So when we have a group of students in our course, it becomes just another uh, community in the online course environment. But because these are people, humans, students are basically humans. So this is where, when we design our online course, the humanizing aspect of the online course must be, we must pay attention to this aspect, and this is what social presence is about. How we develop the community, how we, connect the students, how do we get the students to connect to each other, how do we get the students to connect with us, the instructor. So that connection. So as you can see here, in the purple, um, in the purple oval shape here, the elements of social presence, engagement with participant. So we want to get the students or the participants to connect to each other. That's the first requirement, the first requisite, connecting people. Then we want the teachers also to support this course. The students want to see that their instructor or their teachers or their lecturers are present, and giving support in many different forms. For example, in the discussion, in the forum, and so on, they want to see the presence of the instructor. It should be visible to them. And setting climate, meaning that you want to create that conducive, friendly, safe environment for the students to be in. So that's what social presence is about. So when we design our online course, we must keep in mind that we need to have these elements of social presence. We will dive into more of what we need in our course design to have, to have a significant social presence. But there are some tips here. You can go through the tips for developing social presence here. Create a discussion forum where you introduce yourself. So maybe, the first time when the students enroll in the course, sign in. So maybe there should be some form of ice breaking to get the students to connect to each other, to get the students to know each other. Provide some personal information that may include a picture. Ask for the other class participants to provide similar materials to the extent that they feel comfortable, and so on. I will make one video each for this, so I will elaborate further. The second element is cognitive presence. This is one of the critical elements when we design our online course as part of the community of inquiry model. Cognitive presence means the extent to which learners are able to construct and confirm meaning through sustained reflection and discourse. Active and engaging learning activities are required for the course to be effective. The primary focus of cognitive presence is to develop a higher order thinking process, critical thinking or practical inquiry that integrates existing learning with new learning through reflection, discussion, and feedback. And there are some tips here on the cognitive presence. Again, I will make another video, one separate video, to elaborate more on cognitive presence, which is one of the very important element, where here we will design our course in such a way when we develop the content, there should be activities that would engage students with the content, you know. And again, how do we help the student or support the students to achieve the higher level order, high order thinking in Bloom taxonomy, regulating learning. So what does it mean here? So these are some of the elements in cognitive presence. And teaching presence uh, is the design, the whole, everything about how we design the whole course, the element of facilitation, how the lecturer or the teacher play a role as a facilitator to facilitate learning, and direction of cognitive and social processes for the purpose of realizing personally meaningful and educationally worthwhile learning outcomes. Simply explained, teaching presence includes designing and developing the course and guiding and supporting the learners during the course delivery. Okay, so again, I will elaborate further teaching presence in separate video, but feel free to go through this diagram here um, to learn more. And there's also a video that I have chosen from YouTube, a very good video to learn more about social presence. Same thing here for cognitive presence here, okay, and also for teaching presence here. So as a summary, community of inquiry theoretical framework is one of the model which very useful to help us to design our online course so that we will have all the necessary essential elements to make the course very engaging and very meaningful, very useful, very impactful for the students. These are the three elements: social presence, cognitive presence, and teaching presence. Okay, so I will continue this to talk about community of inquiry in another video before I dive into each of the elements here, which is social presence, cognitive presence, and also teaching presence. I'll see you in another video.